So you are scrolling on your phone, an average day, and you stumble across a video called How to Roleplay. How do you react? Well, you obviously react by liking the video. That's the first thing. But the second most important thing is you gotta learn how to roleplay, because nobody in RP games actually roleplay these days. Let's get the ID here. Let's grab that. Grab it. Alright, here we go. Alright. No, don't do it. Oh no, he pulled his gun out. And so today I'm gonna do the unthinkable. I'm gonna teach you all how to roleplay properly. Starting off, as a civilian, you obviously want a car. Now a car can be up to personal preference, but realistically speaking, most people can't afford a Bugatti nor a Havoc Heladira, which is why going with more realistic options is the best way. Now moving on, the way you drive is also kind of important. As a civilian, you aren't gonna be running red lights like this most of the time. As a civilian, you're also gonna use your blinkers to indicate where you're going. You want to follow the traffic laws, but it's not required where there isn't people, because that's just a waste of time. If I'm over here in Liberty City following all the traffic laws and there aren't any people in Liberty City, then what's the point, right? Now something most civilians will do is go over here and get a gun. And typically getting a gun isn't for hunting, it's actually more so for shooting other players. So let's get the AK-47 for the demonstration here. Once you got your AK-47, you have now ended up in a serious incident in which another player has tried to ram you off the road in your vehicle right over there. What do? He's inside this building. Well, you could start a shootout, right? Is it fitting? Does he deserve to be shot? Well, if he does, then make sure there is an RP scenario ongoing in which you legitimately can shoot him without RDMing. RDM stands for random deathmatch. And another thing, speaking of shooting, unless you are actively holding your gun at this player's back, then a great thing you can do to prolong RP is by not directly shooting the player at first sight. So you might have the player over there, you might accidentally shoot the windows over here, you know, just to make the RP last longer. A shootout shouldn't take 5 hours, but it also shouldn't be over in an instant. That would be boring, right? You want it to last a little longer just for the sake of RP. So if you have a player right in front of you, maybe accidentally shoot the ground first, a little bit around him, and then shoot him. Only to prolong the RP. I know it sounds crazy, but it's what gets me the bad aim comments in every video. Now moving on, we got the civilian roleplay jobs. Especially in ERLC, this doesn't exist for all roleplay games, but in ERLC it does. So you can become a postal worker, gas station employee, news worker. A lot of these jobs have, you know, unique uniforms, cars, and all that. So you can obviously choose one of these roles if you want to make your roleplay experience a little more, well, civilian-like, rather than just drive around in the city like this. Now, one of the harder parts is how you act in a roleplay scenario. Try to be realistic about it. Character animations, walking. Yeah, you can walk rather than sprint everywhere. You can say, "Hi, how are you?" to somebody. I don't know. But the most important part is what your character looks like. Yep, a lot of people mess this up. If you join in looking like this, I'm gonna think you are a non-serious roleplayer. Like, what is this? However, if you join in looking like this, I'm gonna think you are the most amazing roleplayer ever. Because look at this. This actually looks like a human being. A man who works at a farm or something in Texas. You never know, right? It kind of adds to the realism aspect. Now let's move on to the different teams. So starting with police. First of all, as a police officer, you want a realistic uniform. And in most servers, they offer unique uniforms for that specific server. But you see me right now? I'm looking really good here. You want the gear for your specific character. Maybe as a normal cop, you don't need a battering ram nor a ballistic shield, but you might want to bring a fire extinguisher or a riot shield. Yeah, so you have the tools available. You can select a gun like the Ruger SR556. Carry that with you. But then again, what really matters in an RP scenario is that you RP. So when leaving the police station, the police department, you might want to say available for calls, show me 10-8, something like that. Whenever you receive a call, rather than just driving there directly, you go here and you type en route. That shows that you are on your way to the scene. They can now turn your lights and sirens on. Once you have arrived at the scene, let's say there is a criminal enterprise here, you go on scene. Just like that. And here's Eddie. Eddie, get on the ground. Get on the ground, sir. You get the point. And also, as a cop, you do not need to go and patrol the streets at all times. You can set up a post. Let's say here, for example, you park up on the side here, just like this, and then maybe you go with your radar gun and start tracking cars passing by and see what they're up to, you know? If they're speeding, you're gonna want to get in your car and go after them. And if they take off, you want to go and say 1080 and give the description of the car. 1080 meaning police chase or car chase. If the car ends up crashing into a tree like this, you say 1050. That means car crash. Well, it showed up as hashtags in my radio here, but you get the point. You want to communicate and do that a lot. A lot of cops don't do that, and it makes it really hard for other cops to, you know, figure out where to go and what's going on. Same with descriptions. Hand out bolos. Set bolos for individuals that are wanted. Somebody has fled, well, give the description of the vehicle in person. Even when chasing somebody, try to follow the traffic laws, okay? Well, don't stop at a red light if you got your license sirens in a car chase, but you may slow down a tiny bit just so you see that there is nobody coming at full speed going to crash into you, right? I know this sounds a bit nerdy, but it really does improve the RP experience for everybody in this server or game. It's very tiring over and over again having people fail RP everywhere. Wow, just look at this. This is beautiful. I just had to take a screenshot here. As a pedestrian, you may also use the sidewalks and road crossings whenever you're allowed to pass, like when this light is white right here. Or you may jaywalk like this, which gives the cops a reason to stop you and give you a ticket, whatever. Try to prolong everything. So if you got a conversation, try to make it kind of long. If you're chasing somebody, try to make it a bit longer. Don't directly, you know, use the grappler and hook them 5 seconds into the chase, but rather let it go on for a little while. Also, don't drive too fast. If you're in a car chase, and this goes for criminals mostly, try to avoid going above 80 miles an hour, because around 80 miles an hour there's realistic for driving on these roads, but over that it kind of becomes unrealistic quickly. Another thing most people do wrong is they stack up in the same place where everyone else is. So if you see 5 people in that neighborhood over there, maybe avoid going there unless you have been called for some reason to go there. Let's say you're a cop and you get called, oh wow, there's a situation going on, I'm gonna respond. But otherwise, try to avoid it, because there could be an ongoing RP, and if everyone stacks up in the same place, it's gonna get chaotic. Try to spread out. The smartest thing a roleplay server can do is like they do in Springfield RP, where they have certain places for each event, right? So maybe they're in Springfield, then they switch the location to Liberty City, and instead of scattering people across the entire map, you have just an area where everyone can roleplay in, which means you're more likely to spot other players. Next thing you can do is go into random gas stations or grocery stores and pretend you're looking for items. I don't know. There are many things you can do to make RP more realistic. And the main point is that you act realistically. There are many ways to make roleplay fun, but it all comes down to the players, right? It's up to you and the other party involved in order to make it fun. But yeah, that's basically how you RP. That's it. It shouldn't be too hard. Be realistic and, you know, have fun at the same time. Also, this kind of reminds me of a shooting range. I'm gonna head over here now and start shooting into the water. So yeah, let's do that. Oh yeah, that's nice. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the biggest fan of ERLC's audio design. Specifically not for guns. Guns are kind of boring in how they sound. Same for cars. When you drive the cars just sound the exact same. Every car sounds the same. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great rest of your day, and see you in the next video. Bye.